Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers, pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, the young prodigy himself, CJ Vogel, and our own coach, former high school football coach at Belton, Rotan, also played college football at Abilene Christian, coached there as well, was on staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. These days, you can catch his work at shipleysranches.com. It's our own coach, Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Man, doing good. You weren't here on Monday, but it was moving day, and as you can see, we don't have everything set up yet. My office is a storage room, probably kind of echoey, but
Okay.
till we get everything set up. But anyway, doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good. I know Longhorn fans are really excited. Also, lifetime Longhorn, young prodigy CJ Vogel joining us as well. And CJ Vogel is live from the Manning Passing Academy, so we can tell you more about that. If you got some questions about that, you can direct them at CJ. Questions, comments, we'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. But it is obviously going to be a big focus on recruiting. And the Longhorns got 2 commitments earlier today, most notably the 2028 quarterback Neiman Lawrence committed to the Longhorns, and we'll get to that. But also the Longhorns got a 2027 offensive lineman, Lucas Roa, 6'5", 305 out of California. That also is another commitment the Longhorns got. So that 2027 class continues to stack up. And then now the Longhorns coach talking about a quarterback in that 2028 class, Neiman Lawrence, committing to him. So there's some momentum. I think it's clear now, and I think it works that way, CJ, that, you know, momentum is a big part of recruiting. And I feel like the last, what are we talking about, 2 weeks maybe here, the Longhorns have picked up a ton of momentum in recruiting.
Yeah, the last 17 days, how about 8 commitments, right? And so we've seen this in a couple of years previously where the month of June, kind of ranging into the first week or 2 of July, Texas really constructs its class with a lot of urgency, and this year's no different. The commitment today from Lucas Roa puts them at 18. We still expect some movement this weekend. But right now, you start looking at how this class has really come together. You have a lot of top-end talent. You have a lot of fun, really talented developmental pieces as well. But by the end of this weekend, I would expect that number for the month of June alone to be in the double digits. And again, that's kind of been the blueprint of what we've seen from the Texas staff over the last few cycles, is really, really emphasize official visits and try to build and lock down that class going into July.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that momentum is something Longhorn fans are starting to enjoy because Sark is really starting to make some waves on the recruiting trail for that 2027 class. Let's talk about that 2028 commitment and kind of work our way backwards to Lucas Roa and talk about 2027 a little bit more, because speaking of quarterbacks, you're at the Manning Passing Academy. Also, let me not forget, shout out to our sponsors, Prize Picks and Von Lane. We'll tell you more about them coming up here in just a second. And I know we got some questions coming up as well. But let's talk about Neiman Lawrence and what do you like about this quarterback out of Florida, 2028 class. But there is a lot to like about him. He's just a baby, but man, he's got some nice tools. He's a toolsy young quarterback.
Very toolsy, very intelligent. I don't know how many folks watched his commitment ceremony, but great. I mean, in between the ears, I think he's fantastic. A guy that understands what's important to him, what's important to the quarterback position. I think he processes very well. Playmaking ability is there. He's only about 6 foot, so the arm, I think it's good. I think it could be great. Right now, it probably needs a little bit of work. You don't have, that Josh Allen rocket arm that you see with guys that are big frames, but the playmaking ability, the legs, again, and very smart, right, coach? And that's half the battle sometimes when it comes to quarterbacks and finding them out of high school. Originally out of Miami Northwestern, transferred up to American Heritage, where obviously Dia Bell went to school. But look, he trained and was coached by Teddy Bridgewater at Miami Northwestern. Geno Smith has been around the Miami area a long time as well. He's just been around a lot of really smart, veteran, seasoned quarterbacks in the NFL. And you talk to him, you hear him talk, and you say, okay, it makes sense. This guy knows a lot about football, and it pays off for his tape.
Yeah, no, it is. I said I like his game. I like the fact that he's kind of got natural sack avoidance. to be able to get away from pressure. He can run and scramble, as I've talked about. You got to have that cheat code these days, coach. But that's not his first instinct. His first instinct is to extend the play and look downfield. I think that's a playmaking trait that Sark is looking for as well. He doesn't want a guy that's going to escape the pocket and immediately wants to run. He wants a guy that's going to be a pass first quarterback. This young man is naturally, but still has the accuracy on the move and the mobility to avoid pressure.
I really like he's got a quick release, especially when he feels pressure coming on that pressure play a while ago. But he's still got a quick release. I really like this guy. It's going to be interesting to see how this quarterback room shakes up in the next couple of years. Of course, this young man's got a ways to go. CJ, I want to ask you this, a little bit off topic of this particular quarterback. What would you say the percentages are of having a guy commit like this, still got 2 years left of football? What anybody ever track the percentages of a guy that, for example, the 27 class, the 28 class, that age difference, how many of those guys stick with their commitment for the University of Texas?
For Texas and at the quarterback position, coach, I would say it's very high, right? We've seen this for basically the last 4, maybe 5 years where Sark goes out and he finds Arch Manning and he constructs the class out of that, right? Malik Murphy was a kid that committed very early. Trey Owens committed almost 2 full years ahead of when he signed. KJ Lacey, very much the same. Diabell. And really you see it going into the junior years where Sark and Milwee and the offensive staff get these quarterbacks on campus for the elite camp. And then basically that month of June going into the junior seasons, they make a decision. They say, okay, you're going to be the quarterback that we pursue. And typically when quarterbacks hear that from Texas, more times than not, they say, hey, all right, I'm in, right? I want to play at Texas. It's like being the shortstop of the Yankees. It's like being the quarterback of the Cowboys. There's more that comes with it. But when you pair that up with a system like Sark's, with the ability to attract an Easton Royal, an Xavier Worthy, and Adonai Mitchell, these guys on the outside, it's very attractive to a lot of these kids. So, Coach, I would say probably at the quarterback position, nonetheless, probably about 90-95% when it comes to early commitments. They don't miss on these guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
And Texas doesn't offer a lot of quarterbacks, right? That's one of the things. They do have one of the fewest amount of offers to quarterbacks in these classes. So I think there's some value to they want it to be some value to an offer at quarterback for Texas under Sark. And so 2028, if Sark's on him this early, something tells me that the stock is just going to increase. I think they're buying low here. You want to buy low, that kind of thing. I think the young man's value is just going to increase, CJ. Just from looking at it, if he's at this point early on, Sark. I think the 4 traits Sark says he's looking for the quarterback are accuracy. The young man is accurate. He said quick hands, goes to what coach said about him having a quick release. Also, that goes to the mesh point manipulation. Sark's big on play action and RPOs, so you got to have the quick hands to be able to, to deceive the defense, if you will. And he wants him to be the intangibles, a natural leader and a competitor. Those are things I'm sure the staff has researched that we don't really have privy to. But from what you guys have talked about, his maturity and from how he presents himself as the kind of that natural leader at the natural leadership position, he probably quite likely he checks those boxes too, no question about it. But, he does have a lot of the natural kind of fits the data points that Sark's looking for in a quarterback.
I would say absolutely. And again, I think it goes back, Rod, you mentioned just having it between the ears. For quarterbacks, that's half the battle. Because, and Doug, I see your comment, who are the alphas amongst the 27 class? We can get to that here in a second, but this is going to be an alpha for the 2028 class. He's going to be a guy, he's up in Oregon right now competing at the opening. He's going to be someone that a lot of recruits want to play with, right? And I think, Coach, you could probably speak to this a little bit more than I can, but back in the day, before NIL and some of the other transactional efforts of recruiting really came to play, it mattered who you played with. Right, it mattered who was in the class and which other recruits really pitched to you to say, hey, come be a part of what we've got building right here. While NIL has certainly become more transactional, in the recruiting side, money still makes a big difference, probably the most difference in all these recruitments. It's still really attractive to 2028 wide receivers to say, hey, I like that quarterback. I could see myself playing with him for 4 years and really putting up some big-time numbers.
Yeah. We talked about this Monday back when I worked for Mac. He would tell us, don't offer a kid unless you want him because you're going to get him. That seems to almost be the case with quarterbacks today with Sark. And I think that's probably why they have so few offers out there, because as you were saying, it's such an attractive destination for quarterbacks, because you're going to have a loaded receiver room. You're going to be going against good DBs every day, and it's the national brand that it is, and it's really exciting to be picky at quarterback instead of just like some people just throw mud up against the wall to see what sticks. We'll just play roulette here and see where these commitments fall. And Texas is at the point where they don't have to do that. They can be very selective and choosy. And I don't know where do you think he will project in rankings going into his senior season, CJ, in terms of nationally ranked quarterbacks? Have you seen many guys you like?
The one in the 28 class I think really compares with him is Jaden Wade. Right now he's out of IMG Academy. You just watch the ball leave his arm, and I haven't seen a lot of true game tape on him, but you just watch clips, you watch highlights, you watch throws in camps, and you say, okay, that feels a little different. It looks a little different. But look, when you play at IMG, right, you have more talent, and on your sophomore and junior teams than you might have your freshman year at the next level. So, I'd kind of expect that to be the case for quarterbacks at IMG. But the arm talent there is pretty special. Those two, for me, probably the top two in the class. And I think going into his senior season, Coach, I bet he's a top 30, 35 player in the country, which is right there as a borderline 5-star.
Yeah. All right, good stuff there, gentlemen. We do have a super chat, so I want to get to that really quickly. Then we'll dive into the other commitment the Longhorns had in the actual 2027 class, talk some about where CJ is at the Manning Passing Academy. But first, Rocky P, thank you for the super chat, Rocky P. We appreciate it. He says, Rod, did you watch the Jammer podcast? I have not gotten a chance to watch it yet, so I apologize about that. I did get many updates on it, but I got caught up in some stuff happened. So I owe you a free review, which I promise you I'll get to. I didn't get a chance to watch it, though. He said his recovery and length is going to be a problem for the wide receiver. Have you seen Meredith? He said, have you seen Meredith's camp footage? His recovery and length is going to be a problem for the wide receivers. No, I will watch the Jammer thing. I'll get back to you on that. John Meredith, though, like I said, I think that's the kind of guy that can change the way you call coverage, right? Like it almost be a shame to waste his God-given length, his athleticism, just his kind of freakish traits playing a ton of zone, right? With him, you should be playing a lot of man and a lot of press man, because he explodes in and out of his breaks really well for a guy his size. He's really patient too, especially at the line of scrimmage. He's physical. He loves to get his hands on wide receivers, physical at the catch point. Why wouldn't you be when you're legit 6'2" corner? So I think that the reason you get a guy like that, and part of the recruiting pitch had to be, we're going to put you in man. That's what the NFL wants to see. Zone doesn't set you apart. Everybody's playing a lot of zone coverage. Playing man coverage is what's going to set you apart. Yeah, being able to play man and press man. That's what's going to set you apart. That's the rare, because if you do all the research, it tells you in the red zone, coach, and in third down, that's when that's not Texas, but every team plays more man and more press man in those situations, and those are your money situations. So that footage, I think he needs to be, he needs to be a little stickier to the wide receiver. I didn't like that. I didn't love that rep. Did show you that he's got makeup speed and length and everything else. So he can get, you can have a step, or you can think you have a step on him and he can make that up, but he can be cleaner in that one. In that, those reps, that wasn't a clean rep for him. But like I said, you can see all the stuff on display. Like he still was able to catch back up, still make the play, and get glued to the receiver. I'd like to see guys sticky from the jump. I don't like to see that separation at the line of scrimmage like that. See that
That's
initial.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, to your point, Rod. I mean, you sit there and it certainly could improve. There's still some rawness to his technicality as a corner, especially the press man. But then you just piece it together and say, hey, he just got, in a way, kind of beat off the line, recovered against the USC wide receiver commit, and won the rep. Looked pretty easy, right? So, there's certainly ways to tighten that up. And, with Mark Orfe's background, with the way that, Will Muschamp wants to call defenses on the outside, there's reason to think that that technical side should improve immediately in the first spring, this first summer, going into fall camp. I bet he looks significantly different this time next year, going into about week one, about a month away from week one, than what he does right now.
Yeah, let me see that rep again. No, he wasn't out of control, and it's hard to win consistently at the line. But he's got the ability to do it, and you can see the makeup speed. He doesn't ever need to panic. And see, you know what he did? You see him lock his hips at the line. He shot the wrong hand, but he got it back. He shot the outside hand. Watch him shoot the outside hand, and that's what locks his hips initially. See, that's what locks the hips. If the guy's going, if he's going to the sideline, you ideally would like to shoot the inside hand. That's going to open your hips up. If you're going to shoot that outside hand, you better shoot it and get it right back. See, once you shoot that hand, look at those hips. See them locked? The hips are locked there. But he still got a good jam on him because he's so damn long and he's so physical. So the receiver still, boom. But then the hips are locked, but then watch him recover.
That's great hip recovery.
The recovery is the recovery is legit. I mean, it's high, it's elite level because he is like this. The hips are locked. Oh, so. And that's what do you say? He's going to USC, this guy, the receiver? Don't you say it?
He's been doing well today.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of, like I say, technically proficient, not really, but he's so physical. As long as he got a hand on him, the receiver had to recalibrate, all right, to get back on track. But my critique would be, if you're gonna shoot that outside hand, you got to get it back quick, so your hips don't lock on you. And then you can, you know what I mean? And then you can kind of mirror that guy a little bit better. Once the hips lock, then the receiver's got a little step because your hips are locked and you're like this, and they can get that swim move on you. So either shoot that hand, boom, shoot it back, get it. I'm talking about UFC style, boom. Or shoot that inside hand. That's going to open your hips up, and then you're going to be able to ride them to the sideline, and your hand placement should be on that pet up there so you can control it. That would be my only critique. But like I said, you can see it all on display. I mean, that's just technical stuff, but he's going to be a monster. I would call a lot of man and a lot of press man with that dude. That's what I think Muschamp will do. All right. Thank you for that. I love talking ball, man. That was a good question. Appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat. Let's thank our sponsors really quickly, and then we'll jump back on the recruiting trail a little bit. Let's thank our sponsors over from Prize Picks. We appreciate our friends at Prize Picks. And if you're not picking with Prize Picks, folks, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's the best way to watch sports these days. You're not going to find a better way to really increase the entertainment experience that you have while watching sports. It's the dog days of summer, and sports are heating up all across the landscape. Baseball in full swing. WNBA is rolling. You got lots of people, millions of people invested in the World Cup as well. There's a lot going on, and Prize Picks just adds to it. Now, every possession matters. Every at-bat matters. You're locked in from start to finish, and you're not just watching anymore. You've got some juice in the game, and the best part is, it's really easy. You're just picking more or less on player stats. You build your lineup, submit it, and you're good. It takes maybe a minute. And you can go across any sport, too. You can mix and match basketball, baseball, golf, soccer, MMA, even esports, all right? Whatever you're into, you can just you can use your creativity, all right, to kind of paint your perfect sports weekend or weekday, and our friends over at Prize Picks will help you do it. Today, pair of Cubs in our picks, including Pete Crow Armstrong to have more than 1.5 hits plus runs and RBIs, along with Dansby Swanson to have more than a half a hit. Both have been on fire lately at the plate, and racking up the stats. So we're trying to take advantage of that. Also, we're trusting our gut on this. How about we're going with Royals pitcher Seth Lugo to have less than 4 strikeouts? He's only gone above that number one time in the last month. So we're trusting our gut on those and just got our picks locked in. It's available in all 50 states, including right here in the great state of Texas. So if you haven't jumped in yet, now's the time. Download the app, use the code HMA, play $5, and they'll give you $50 in lineups instantly. The code is HMA, 5 gets you 50. It's just that simple. And as always, play smart, play responsibly, play Prize Picks. Let's also thank our friends at Von Lane. We're thanking our sponsors. They do a great job for us, and they'll do a great job for you as well. I've actually taken the Von Lane myself several times. I've taken it to Houston. I've taken it to Dallas or Fort Worth. They've empowered our road trips on our Texas tour with our friends at Third and Longhorn. Now my third and Longhorn buddies, they're big fans of Von Lane. All it takes is one trip on Von Lane, and you will be a fan as well. First-class travel experience on the ground. We know if you're driving yourself on those shorter routes in between major Texas cities or in the region, or if you're flying, it can be very stressful, and it can be a bit of a hassle as well. TSA, security checks, delayed flights. You don't have to deal with that. Our friends over at Von Lane, they have a system that boards you in minutes at a private hotel terminal, and you can just settle into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. They got complimentary Wi-Fi, upgraded, by the way, with Starlink internet. They also have beverages, snacks, hot towel service on every trip. On select departures, they even have complimentary meals. They do a fantastic job. They serve Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands as well, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, Knoxville. And if you're traveling with a team or a group, you can charter your own Von Lane coach and design the trip from pickup to drop off. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. And it's your first time riding, enter the code OTF26 at checkout, and you'll receive $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane, your private jet on wheels. And if you're thinking about game days, just want to remind you, they have a great route, especially from H-Town, a great new route from the Woodlands to Austin, help you avoid all the traffic and all the stress for game days. If you're traveling to Austin for Texas football games, think about Von Lane. All right, let's talk about the offensive line commitments. Lucas Roja, did I get his name correct there, CJ, out of California? This guy? I think he projects as a guard, an interior offensive lineman, correct? With the frame and everything.
Yes, interior guy at the next level. But look, he plays all 5, right? And so that's really one of the big selling points for him. Lengthy, 6'5", 305 pounds. Texas told him basically you're a 5-position player on the offensive line. We can see you at both tackles. We see you at both guards. You can even play center. He said, look, I'll do whatever it takes to get on the field. I was very impressed with Lucas Roa, kind of recapping his Texas official visit 2 weeks ago. Just, again, hearing from him that I don't care where you put me. I'm a football player. I want to play football, and wherever I can play football the earliest, that's what I'm here to do. That checked a lot of boxes for me. So, look, not the most technically sound. He's very aggressive, I think. I think he has the mindset for being a guy that you could certainly classify as a mauler in a year or two at the college level. But I like this take. And, again, you talk about adding a smart football player. No better place to have him at quarterback than also on the offensive line.
Coach, how rare is it that a guy can play all 5 positions on the O-line? You've coached O-line before, right?
Yes.
How rare is that? And what kind of skill set and football intelligence would it take for a young man to be able to do something like that or be capable of it?
Well, it takes great feet, obviously, and it takes good hips. You know, guys that can be flexible. And this guy's kind of reminds me. His attitude kind of reminds me of Jackson Cook. You know.
Yeah.
Got that. I'm gonna win this battle. I'm gonna humiliate you in front of all these people here watching you. And I think he moves great for a big guy. He's very well coached. If you look at his technique and his steps and the way that he executes blocks, I think he's very well coached, and he's athletic. I love a guy that can play different positions. You know. Used to be back in the day, your center was your best lineman, you know, because he's going to be in the middle of the action every play. It's kind of swung now, especially in high school. It's swung now to back where you're running the ball a little bit more. But now that, a lot more passing, obviously you've got to protect the left side at left tackle. But I like this guy. Look at him. Boom. I bet he's been in a fist fight or two.
You said you like your old lineman to have a couple of scraps under that belt, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. Have you ever been in a fist fight, baby?
No, I like the young man's game, no doubt. I mean, I'm with you on that. Highly intelligent football player that can play multiple spots and he's got a nasty streak to him. Sounds like a guy that can play on the O-line. So good day in recruiting for Texas in the 2027 class and in the 2028 class. Let's talk really quickly about where you are, CJ. Who's just in attendance there? How many quarterbacks are there now? This thing has grown. It used to be, I thought it used to be like a small number. Now this thing is huge. I mean, if you don't get invited as a Power 4 quarterback, you got to feel disrespected at this point.
Yeah, it's truly the who's who of college quarterbacks. I mean, just as we were about to go live today, I walked out of the football field. I was sitting with Jerry for the last couple of hours, just watching these guys kind of walk around, kind of interact with one another. We were talking to a couple coaches, and I mean, Arch Manning, Trinidad Chambliss, Julian Sayin. I mean, you go down the list. CJ Carr's another, Noah Fafita, Damon Williams, Kevin Jennings, Marcel Reed supposed to be here. I did not see him. John Mateer is here. So y'all have fun in the chat with that one. But really, if you were to lay out the top 10 to 15 quarterbacks in the country, the one, probably two names that would be on that list that I don't see, Dante Moore's not here. He did not attend last year. Sam Levitt's not here. He did attend last year. And Bryce Underwood, whether or not you believe he has a bright future at Michigan, he's a talented quarterback. He's not here. Those are really the three that I look at and say, man, that kind of surprising. LSU, Michigan, Oregon. But it's a 40, 45 deep list of quarterbacks that are all really, really talented.
Yeah, no doubt. Who are you most looking forward to seeing? Who you got like at the kind of top of your list that you got to get eyes on? Obviously, Arch aside, but who's at the top of your list that you like? I got to get eyes on this guy. That at some point.
Yeah, there's two. First, look, I think it's hard not to look at someone like CJ Carr, who gets a lot of the pub this offseason. He's right there in that conversation with Arch Manning for being a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the country. I'm going to see what he looks like. Come on, Cisco. The other is Mario Taylor, the quarterback at Mississippi State, and we only got to see him for about 3 or 4 games towards the back end of last year. But boy, I mean, there's so much raw ability with him. If the arm can be consistently accurate in that offense, he's going to have plenty of space with a lot of speedy wide receivers to get the ball to him. And if he doesn't get the ball to him, he can take off. He's probably the most athletic quarterback in attendance. I don't know if that's a stretch to say. I think Malik Washington from Maryland's in that conversation. Damon Williams from Maryland, he's in that conversation. Damon Williams from Washington's in that conversation. But no, I'm a big fan of Mario Taylor.
Nice. Yeah. No, he's dangerous as a scrambler. I mean, I'm telling you, he's got some wheels, man, and he's twitchy. He's twitchier than you think because he's kind of long and lanky. But no, he's a little bit scary. I agree with that. Let's get to a couple of questions here. Not a question. Marcos just got his question is with CJ in Louisiana. It's his last name, Vogel, with the Cajun spelling of Vogel now. Are you that into it?
I like Louisiana, so maybe that's just what happens. I turn into the Cajun Vogel. We spell it that way. That'd be fun.
All right, thanks for that one, Marco. We appreciate it. Doug here, and this was a good question, I think. It's recruiting related. Hey, CJ, who are the alphas among the 2027 football recruits? Leadership is very important. Who are the recruits that can rally the troops, so to speak? That's a good one.
I think Jackson Cook is one of those guys. Yeah. We've gotten to talk to him quite a bit. Obviously living in Austin already, he's someone that, he's played a big part in hosting some of these kids on their official visits. Brock Williams and JT Garachi are two others. It was really interesting to hear from them after their official visits, both tight ends. I don't know how often it is that you have two guys at the same position look at each other and say, hey, we're going to be phenomenal together. right? So that's a positive. And, just talking to both after their officials on June 12th, they both said, hey, man, I think we're going to flip all of these kids that are committed elsewhere, and we're going to be the reasons why they flip. So those three probably come to mind for me. I will say, you get a guy like John Meredith in the boat. He's just got to walk into a room, and a lot of kids are attracted to, he's going to go play for Texas. Maybe I need to think about it a little bit more. So that's kind of where I lie at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Doug. That's a good one. What something you want to say, Coach? Sorry.
Yeah. So exactly how does the academy work, CJ, with guys like are the college quarterbacks? Are they kind of behind the scenes actively recruiting?
I think they're instructors sometimes, right?
Yeah, but it would seem like a good opportunity for Arch to be doing some recruiting down there.
You're talking about for the high school quarterbacks?
Yes.
Their attendance?
And receivers.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Most of the receivers down here are the Nickel State wide receivers. I don't know how often they bring in like top Louisiana talent, the high school kids to come catch. I think it'd be a great opportunity to do so, to throw and receive routes from some of these big college quarterbacks. But I don't see many receivers, or at least I haven't over the last couple of years, that aren't just, hey, Nickel State's wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. You guys are going to benefit from having quarterbacks on campus here to throw and receive. I think that's part of, kind of the deal, the back and forth that Manning Passing Academy and Nickel State have with one another.
Does the Nickel State quarterback get to?
Yes.
Throw? That's good.
Yeah. Man, that's a nice recruiting pitch for Nickel State. Right? Though it's only once a year, but still, that's a nice little perk right there. All right. Thank you for that. Let's get to Doug's question, because Doug's got another one that is Manning Passing Academy related. And I want to kind of know, too, are there any high school quarterbacks there?
Oh, yeah. There's 500 or so.
Okay.
And they range from 8th grade to senior year. I think Purdue's 2027 commit in their classes here. But typically it's for kids that are 8th, 9th, 10th grade, really just beginning their quarterback process.
Okay.
They're still in their developmental stage.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Doug. We appreciate that. This is from Cisco, and I believe he's talking about, it has to be about Lucas Royal, because I believe at the time it was saying it was about Lucas Royal. Why is he ranked so low? I think he's underrated. Is that, I'm assuming it is, because is Lucas Royal is he a 3-star or something like it? Right?
Right in that range. And again, that's one of those things where, you play tackle, but you project to guard. It's tough to, receive the nod from the rankings committees. Again, in a tough way, it's you hear someone that's so versatile. Well, what is he, right? How does he project? You can't pin him down right now as a starting left tackle or a starting center right away. And in a way it works against him. That's my thing. But I mean, he's got the measurables, 6'4.5", 6'5", 305 pounds. So I think that's a big piece of it. I just think it's kind of the unknown of where he fits at the next level, despite having that versatility in his back pocket.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like his game though. I think that's a nice acquisition for the Longhorns. Anytime you get a versatile offensive lineman, you can't put a price on it really. All right. Daniel says I joined late. Did John Material wish CJ a happy birthday? Come on, man. Come on.
I did see him though. Said hello.
CJ, you bumped into Arch?
We did. It was actually a funny story. Jerry and I were making a lap around the stadium today. I don't think Arch will be too upset that I say this. It was funny. But he had just pulled up. He pulled up in a van with Drew Mestemaker. They arrived together, I'd assume, flying out of Austin. Mestemaker out of Austin Vandergriff, now at Oklahoma State. But the two arrived out of a van together, and we had just walked out of the stadium. And as he gets out of the car, he looks up and goes, "Uh-oh." And Jerry and I go, "Who is that?" It was Arch. He came over, said hello. He's like, "Glad to see you guys. How's it going? We're here for a great weekend. Come on."
Did y'all do the fine bomb thing or whatever? Where you're like, remember at the SEC media days last year?
I mean, Arch at this point, he's answered enough dumb questions from me that, he good to see you again, basically. But no, we told him we were sweating like crazy out here. He goes, welcome to Louisiana. Walks right on. It was a funny deal.
I love that. Basically, most of the locker room, they know CJ, and they don't. Even Sark has mentioned CJ, randomly in social media, stuff like that. I like that everybody, they kind of know who CJ is. That's why, yeah, that's street cred, baby. That's street cred.
The whole locker room knew the A&M predictions.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, CJ's got street cred, man. The locker room knows you. When the locker room's looking at you on their timeline, it's good, baby. Brandon, hey, what's up, B Morgan? Good to hear from you, brother. Hope everything's going well. Says, what is the latest on the Eastern Royal update? Yeah, speaking of recruiting, feels like every day something on my timeline has Eastern Royal on it. Speaking of,
yeah. Oh, I know we talked about it a little bit in the chat today. Eastern Royal is up in Oregon for the opening up, or the big opening event. Weighed in at 214.2 pounds today. For reference, that's 13 pounds heavier than what Devin Duvernay played at. Right? And they have a similar build, about 5'11". I mean, he's built like Bijan Robinson coming in from South Point Catholic, right? So is that too heavy? Can he go further? I mean, I thought preferably around 205 to 210 would be fantastic, but I mean, he's still running. He's still, incredibly quick and fast at 214 pounds. But that, I talked to somebody that was up there today. They said he looks fantastic. I think the work that is needed for him, coach, right now is catching with the hands. He over the middle, especially, he catches a lot with the body. But as long as the ball is hauled in, I mean, it's tough to bring him down. I will say this: Florida, LSU, and Texas, all three of them have talked to Eastern Royal about being a guy that lines up in the backfield, someone that they can mix and match and move around all over the field to use that speed to their advantage. I thought that was really interesting. But boy, I think that's something that he's coming off of those official visits saying, I ate good up to 214 pounds.
Whoa. Yeah, Daniel, how much Terry Blacks? Is he Deebo Samuel now? Coach, how many receivers can you remember? Because that's right. Bijan is 5'11", 215, or that's what he's listed as. So how many receivers can you remember in college pro that have that kind of physique and that kind of build with that kind of speed?
Yeah, not many. But I think it goes back to the versatility of the way this staff recruits, and I love that. You get a guy that just plays one position, that's all he's ever played, and that's all he can play with his skill set. And I love those guys that line up in the backfield because you have to account for them.
Yeah.
Who's going to be covering that cat out of the backfield?
They can't put a linebacker. You got to put a corner on him. You can't put a linebacker or safety on him. He gonna burn him. And you don't want him to catch the ball with too much space in front of him. That's essentially, guys. So I agree because I see the Percy Harvin come. Percy Harvin wasn't over 200, right? Percy Harvin was like 190, something like that. A little over 190, 5'11". I mean, that's like Christian McCaffrey and Bijan, guys. That's exactly like that is the mode. It's Christian McCaffrey and Bijan, pretty much.
And he's still running 10-2 consistently.
Wow, that's some freaky stuff, man. Like I said, Debo spreads it out a little bit more because I think Debo's about 215 to 20, but Debo, so he is kind of he's at Debo Samuel mode, but Debo's slow, not slow, but Debo's not gonna beat you with speed.
Right.
Debo doesn't threaten you with speed. It's like an ongoing joke online. Like that's not Debo's game. But you take if a mastermind like Shano sees the multiplicity in his game, like Coach talks about, a guy that they essentially can turn your offense into an offense that can go from 11 personnel and then just shift him in the backfield and boom, you're 20. You're 21 personnel just from one shift. From a guy to go from a slot, then 21 and legitimately could hand him off the ball and run outside zone or something. It's like, what the? Like that is hard to account for defensively. So if that is the plan, that he wants his own Deebo Samuel, and I remember Jeff Howe saying this about Bijan coming out of high school. I'll give Jeff Howe a lot of credit. Out of high school, Bijan was like Bijan could play the slot. Like Bijan could play a slot receiver, and he would still go to the league as a slot receiver. He wouldn't be what we know now, but he still would be really good as a slot receiver. Essentially, Christian McCaffrey in that system, in Shannon's system, was that, right? He's guy that can play slot, guy that can play in the backfield. Maybe this is the weapon that he wanted. Maybe this is what he's going to turn. Maybe he's going to turn this young man into what we thought like a Michael Terry would be.
Yeah, that would be. I mean,
that's a crazy physique, though. I just never seen anything like it. I got to see how many guys have that. Other than Deebo Samuel, I don't know how many receivers have that kind of frame.
Right, and I know Deebo at that size, that weight gets thrown around. I believe it's Daniel. Daniel's absolutely right. Ran 4.48 coming out of South Carolina. But now, Rod, you mentioned it. It's kind of become a punchline on online that his belly walks into the room well before he does now. Right? It's kind of bizarre how his frame has shifted over the last couple of years, but you still see that ability to be a running back at times, a slot receiver, and if they need him, shoot. I mean, the guy's still a really good wide receiver. But that speed has not held up for Deebo, not in this case. And that's kind of the hope for Easton Royal is, hey, at 214 pounds, you can still remain one of the fastest players in the entire country. And I will say this, too. They had the fastest man competition at the opening. It was won by a kid out of Detroit, 2028 wide receiver, I believe, from Detroit. I forget the name. But that's kind of crazy. He beat John Meredith as the fastest guys at the opening this weekend, and he's doing it as a grade younger than everybody else.
Oh, dang. And he's a wide receiver, this kid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fascinating that he's up to. Like I said, we don't even know if they will keep him in that. When he goes to Texas, they got their own plan for him, so he may end up losing some of that. But being up to 214 pounds, that is fascinating. I will say this about Bijan. If you look at top running backs in yards per route run, basically, which is a receiving metric, he has the best yards per route run in the NFL. Bijan, I remember Sark used to go on empty formation, coach, and he put Bijan in the slot, and he'd run a seam route with him. And they would throw it to him too, like on the seam, and he'd be open, boom, and make a nice catch. Like that's that kind of freaky multiplicity might be what he's looking for in Easton Raw coming in out of that 2027 class. All right, nice update there, CJ. Appreciate that, and thanks for the question, Brandon Morgan. Appreciate you. All right, and one more question from Donald. I know we're getting close to the end here, so we'll make this our last one. Donald Brett says, "How many commits does LSU get just on food?"
That's a good question.
That is a good one. I ain't gonna lie, because if you ain't had some good Cajun food before, it'll change your life, right, Coach? It's like Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue will do that to you too. I was talking to Melvin Ciani, and he was like, "Man, I tried so many barbecue joints in Texas, trying to find out what's the base. Like not in Texas, but basically in Austin. Like he's just trying different barbecue joints because there's so many good barbecue joints. That's kind of been one of his missions while he's been down here. But if you're an old lineman, Texas barbecue can bring you to the promised land, baby. It's good stuff. Donald, thank you for that. Appreciate that. And thank you guys for the participation, and thank you guys for the questions. Thanks to our sponsors as well. Thank you very much to Prize Picks. Thank you to Von Lane. If we missed any of your questions or comments, we apologize about that. Please direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Bobby Burton, and the estimable Jerry Hamilton. They'll join you bright and early at 8:15 a.m. Also coming up tomorrow, we'll have your Friday live stream. That'll be at 3:15 p.m. And that'll be myself. Usually Jerry's on there, but we'll see. We'll throw some more guys on there. But hey, the team is so deep these days. It's all good. We know we'll have an all-star cast either way. So thank you to Coach. Appreciate you, Coach, joining us. Thank you for the wisdom and the levity. CJ, great nuggets as always, brother. Be safe down there. And we'll be checking in with you tomorrow sometime. Thanks to Matthew behind the scenes. He's the real MVP. Nobody does it better. We appreciate him as well. And for Coach and for CJ and for Matthew, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.